I'm going to tell you what happened on Tuesday night. I'm going to tell you exactly what I remember, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the recordings say, and where those two things don't match, I'm going to tell you that too. I've spent 11 years being precise about information. I'm not going to stop now. But I need to say something first. If you've been following this, if you read the first two posts, you know what I've been building toward. You know about the empty logs and the second login and the 314 call and Roland in the parking lot. You know I went back in with a recorder and a phone and a plan. You know I said I was going to be awake at 3:14. I was going to pick up that call and I was going to know what I said. I was awake at 3:14. I'm not sure knowing was the right word for what happened next. The shift started normally. 10 p.m. I signed in, did my equipment check, sat down. Headset on, recorder in my pocket, running. Phone beside the keyboard with the scanner archive pulled up, volume low, ready to cross-reference in real time if anything came through. Kathy had done the handoff. She seemed fine. She asked if I'd figured out the log thing, and I said it was still working on it, which was technically true, and she nodded and left. No indication she knew anything more than she'd said. I've been watching her, and I think she's genuinely in the dark. Whatever this is, it isn't centered on Kathy. The first few hours were standard. 3 calls between 10 and midnight, all routine. A noise complaint around 1 in the morning. A minor traffic incident at 2:40, no injuries. I logged everything, dispatched everything, remembered all of it. I was present and I was careful and I was watching the clock. By 3 a.m. I had stopped taking calls on autopilot. Every ring, I paused before answering. Looked at the caller display first. Time, number, location if the system had it. I was building a record I could hold on to. I was not going to lose another hour. At 3:11, Roland's patrol unit checked in on the radio. Routine position check, standard response. His voice was flat and procedural, same as always. I confirmed his position and logged it. When I keyed the radio to respond, I noticed my hand was steadier than I expected. At 3:13, a call came in. Unknown number, no location data, no name. I looked at it for one full ring before I picked up. The caller didn't say anything at first, not silence exactly. There was presence on the line, the quality of air that has someone in it. About 4 seconds of that. Then a voice. Not a man, not a woman, or both, or neither. The kind of voice that your ear keeps trying to resolve into something familiar and can't quite get there. Flat effect. Completely calm. The voice of someone reporting something rather than experiencing it. It said, "It's going to hold for another week." The same sentence. Word for word, the same sentence from the scanner archive. The one I'd found on that hobbyist website. The one I'd heard myself respond to without hesitation or protocol. The one I'd heard myself answer with, "Copy that Tuesday," like I was confirming a standing appointment. I knew it was coming. I'd listened to that clip probably 30 times in the past week. I still wasn't prepared for it. There's a difference between knowing a thing is going to happen and being in the room when it does. I had my response planned. I was going to ask for a name. I was going to ask for a location. I was going to run every standard protocol I had, because whatever this was, I was going to treat it like a real call and document every deviation from normal. I opened my mouth. I said, "Copy that. Tuesday." I didn't decide to say it. It came out the way your name comes out when someone calls it, without the step between hearing and responding. I heard my own voice, and then I was already past the moment where I could have said something different. And the line was still open, and the caller was still there, breathing steadily, and I was sitting at my console with my hands in my lap and the recorder in my pocket, and no memory of reaching for the keyboard. 90 seconds. That's how long the line stayed open. I counted. I was fully present for every second of it, watching the call timer increment, listening to that breathing, not speaking, not logging anything, not doing anything at all except sitting in the particular stillness of someone who has just discovered the shape of something they can't explain. Then the caller hung up. I sat there for a moment. Then I reached for the keyboard and typed a noise complaint. A man reporting a neighbor's dog. I logged a patrol response. I have no memory of deciding to do this. My hands did it the way they log anything. Muscle memory from 11 years of protocol, and when I looked at what I'd typed, it was clean and correct and completely false. I did not stop myself. I don't know if I could have. At 3:17, the console made a sound I'd never heard before. Not an alarm, not a system error. A sound like a relay clicking somewhere inside the hardware. Very quiet, the sound a machine makes when something internal changes state. I looked at the system status display in the corner of my main monitor. For 11 seconds it showed 2 active sessions, my login in the top row, and below it, the character string Derek had shown me on the printout. The one with no personnel record, no hire date, no department. Right there on my screen, authenticated and active, doing something I couldn't see in a system I was sharing with it. I should tell you that I was scared. That would be the accurate word, but the fear I felt was not the kind that makes you move. It was the kind that makes you very still, very focused, the way you get when a call comes in that tells you immediately this one is different. I've had that feeling maybe a dozen times in 11 years. It's not panic. It's the opposite of panic. It's the feeling of every irrelevant thing dropping away. I watched the character string on my screen. After 11 seconds it disappeared. My login was alone in the top row again. The relay sound came once more, quieter, and the console continued operating exactly as it had before, logging calls, receiving transmissions, doing everything a dispatch console does on an ordinary Tuesday night. I pulled my phone out and opened the scanner archive. I wanted to see if the 314 call was going to show up in real time, the way it had in the archived audio from the original Tuesday. I wanted to know if whatever happened on that first Tuesday was a recording or a pattern. There was no audio gap on the scanner. The 314 call was there, my voice taking it, the same flat sentence from the caller, my copy that Tuesday response. Already archived, already a record. As if it had been logged somewhere else before I made it. The rest of the shift ran clean. 4 more calls, nothing unusual, nothing I couldn't account for in the morning. At 5:45 a.m. I wrote my pre-sign-out notes in the physical logbook. Standard entries, nothing significant. I looked at the page from the original Tuesday, the one with "Don't Ask" in my handwriting, and I thought about what I understood now that I hadn't understood then. I signed out at 6:03 a.m. I was halfway to my car when I remembered and turned around. I went back inside. I went to the console. I looked at the physical logbook still sitting open on the desk. Below my sign-out entry, in my own handwriting, were 4 words. I hadn't written them. I had been watching my hands since 3 a.m. I had not written anything in the logbook after my standard sign-out entry. I was certain of this. The words were, "Don't ask, it works. I've spent 4 days trying to decide what to tell you. I've listened to the recording from Tuesday night. The 314 call is there. My response is there. The 43 seconds of silence at 3:16 are there. My voice saying, confirmed, logging it, is there. All of it exactly as before. What's different is the 11 seconds at 3:17. On the recording, there's a sound I cannot identify. Very low at the edge of what the recorder's microphone could pick up. Not the relay click I heard in the room. Something slower. Something that takes all 11 seconds to complete. I've sent it to 2 people and neither of them can tell me what it is. One of them said it reminded him of a carrier signal. The kind of signal a system uses to maintain a connection it hasn't officially opened. A connection to what? I don't know. Here is what I know. There are calls being handled on Tuesday nights that no official system records. The people who made those calls got help. The emergencies were resolved. Whatever is running through my console at 3:17 every week, it is apparently load-bearing. It is doing something that matters, something that works, something that has been working in this building for longer than I have been alive. Roland has lived alongside it for 6 years, and he has made his peace with not understanding it. People before him made the same choice. The logs get wiped, and the county doesn't burn down, and the work gets done, and nobody is supposed to ask. I understand now why I wrote those 2 words on the original Tuesday. I wasn't warning myself away from something dangerous. I was telling myself what I already knew and couldn't hold on to. Don't ask is not a threat. It's what the job looks like when the job is bigger than the system that documents it. I don't know what answered that call at 3:14. I don't know what logged in at 3:17. I don't know why my hands type false log entries while my mind watches from 1 step behind. I don't know if the voice that says it's going to hold for another week is reporting to me or through me, or whether that distinction matters. What I know is that it has been holding every week for longer than I know. And whatever it is, it chose a dispatch center. It chose the overnight shift. It chose the one job where you are supposed to be the steady voice, the one that doesn't fall apart. I haven't decided if I'm going back in next Tuesday. I have been a dispatcher for 11 years. I have never not shown up for a shift. I think I'll go in. The calls need to be handled. Somebody has to answer. Even when the line doesn't say anything back, this is the last post I'm going to make about this. Not because I've been told to stop, not because I'm scared of what comes next, because there are some things that stay truer when you stop trying to explain them. The county hasn't burned down. That's enough.